Welcome into this Tuesday edition, Blue Sky Live here with you this morning. Chase Farm, Neil McCready. He is in the Clark Ford studio. Ole Miss had a media practice viewing last night. Got observations of that from Mr. McCready at 24/7 Sports, rebels247.com. You can still sign up with the code. Neil get you 75% off there at rebels247.com. I mean, I even have a little muscle memory, Neil, with the whole Inside the Rebels thing. I mean, it almost got off the tip of the tongue right there before I caught myself. So we're going to get there. It's not going to be nearly as bad as it is with Guardians or Commanders or something like that, but just a touch right there off the tip of the tongue. So all good.
Sometimes,
Got a
sometimes I think you wish you were still
Inside the
inside.
Rebels. I know.
Yeah,
I miss it. We
yeah.
will hit a lot of stuff today, a good bit of football, a few different topics around the sports world yesterday as well. So glad that all of you are with us on a show brought to you every day by Blue Sky locations throughout the state of Mississippi, up and down I-55, throughout North Mississippi as well, the epicenter down in Macomb. They'll take care of you with Sweet Daddy's locations at most of those stops, everything from lunch specials, 5.69, couple sides bread, any size fountain drink, to catering options, really any size catering option, family, extended family, just taking care of you on a night. We got a lot going on with the kids now that school is back in session, or maybe, feeding your office, corporate events, things like that. They will take care of you again. Sweet Daddies and Blue Sky, and Neil's in the Clarkford studio.
I am. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He will send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and then the rest is up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done several times. What I recommend that you do, let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Campbell Clinic hotline. From fractures and sports injuries to complex spine and limb conditions, the pediatric orthopedic physicians at Campbell Clinic in Oxford are the only specialized pediatric orthopedic team in North Mississippi providing expert care for growing bodies. Visit campbellclinicoxford.com to schedule an appointment or call 901-759-3111.
Kyle, I don't have it scheduled yet. He's asking if I have any book signings in Tupelo. We will go to Reed's in Tupelo, just like last time, but I don't have that date. Actually, I need to be getting that here pretty soon. The only two that are on the calendar locked in: September 23rd at Lemuria in Jackson, and September 26th in Oxford for sort of the launch party, if you will. Have some players, coaches, things like that, the former players there at that. So those are the two, but I know we are close to getting Tupelo decided and Memphis decided as well. That'll be at Novel in Memphis, and then Reed's in Tupelo. So thanks for the ask there on that. I meant to ask you yesterday, Neil. Did you watch our instant analysis video from that practice back in 2011 that they unearthed on the
No,
board here a couple of days ago?
no,
Why?
nope. I don't know. I don't typically like watching myself at all, so I'm not going to go back and watch myself from
You were
14.
svelte back then, though. You're not like you are now. Not that you aren't now. It's not what I meant. I just meant physically. You were in good shape. And there was nothing to be ashamed about back in that 2000.
Yeah.
It was 2010 video. It was one of the last practices prior to the season opener in 2010.
Oh, wow. Boy, but
I think
those are
that's
some fun.
right. I think
That
that's
was
right.
right. We were getting ready for
Or maybe it
Jacksonville
was
State.
2011. Maybe it was even better. Maybe it was 2011. I think it was 2011 now that I'm talking.
Okay. Yeah, I was.
That's BYU, right? 2011 was the BYU opener.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Brazel
That
dropped the ball.
that was.
They got beat like 7-6 or 13-7 or something like that.
Oh, is that what the score was? I don't even remember.
It was very low scoring.
All I remember about that preseason was Chris Vaughn, bless his heart, having to come over multiple times as the intermediary in what I guess was a Cold War, except I wasn't really engaged in the Cold War with Houston Nutt and me. Recruiting
Even
was
then?
not go- Oh, yeah. It started before the year. It started before the 2008 season, frankly. but yeah, he was upset about, I guess, what we were writing and or saying about recruiting because it wasn't apparently going very well.
August 12th, 2011 is the date on this, I
How
think.
about that?
Oh, no, 2010. Sorry,
2010.
2010. August
Okay.
12th, 2010. That's what it
So that
says.
was, we were waiting. We were probably doing
Yeah,
Masoli
actually, I
stuff.
don't think so. I think that's wrong. I think the date. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. It was 2011 because he talks about BYU and 2010. I mean, we talk about BYU, and that was 2011. The flip cam video recorder has the wrong date on it. Remember those things? Remember we used those that you had
Oh
to
yeah.
plug them into the side of the computer and
Yeah.
it threw the file in, and then we moved from there.
So that was
It was
2011.
2011. Yes,
Okay.
it's 2011. It's on my personal Facebook page, which has no other videos, so don't think you're unearthing anything. It's not like I use that thing. And it has us discussing an open scrimmage after the scrimmage, and we are discussing quarterback play between Zach Stout and Randall Mackey
Barry Brunetti.
and Barry Bernetti.
Well,
I
you know
had a
what they say.
quote in there that Neil, I was on to something. I had a quote in that
Yeah.
video that said there's just not
Yeah.
a lot of consistency with the quarterback group. That wasn't incorrect in hindsight.
That was fair. You
That's
know,
fair.
there's an old saying: if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Expand that out a little, and it becomes even more true. If you have three quarterbacks, you don't have one.
We charted every throw from those three quarterbacks, if I have that right.
That is correct, and we made enemies in the process.
By doing that?
They weren't thrilled. It was,
Okay.
and look, it wasn't. We were just an easy target. There was frustration. I think people inside that program knew it was going to be touch and go that fall.
That BYU team finished 10-3, number 25 in the country, and beat Tulsa in the Armed Forces Bowl. They beat Ole Miss 14-13 on the
14,
opening day at Vaught-Hemingway Stadium.
14-13.
Nick Brazel dropped a touchdown pass, and look, I'm not blaming the entire loss on Nick, but that's the one play I remember there in that.
It kind of feels like you are blaming the whole thing on Nick Brazel.
He had the talent to be an NFL cornerback, not a wide receiver. He
True.
really wanted to play wide receiver. He had immense talent at corner.
Yeah, and it wasn't Houston's fault that he couldn't get him to focus at Ole Miss. They tried everything. He would have been better off going to state. He'd have been better. He's one of those kids that just was nothing. It wasn't Ole Miss's fault. It wasn't Houston's fault. It wasn't anyone in the program's fault. He just was too close to Batesville.
Because I think that was the debut year for that wide receivers class. You had the big five wide receivers in Mississippi. It was Nick and Tobias and Dante and
Worthy.
well, and for State it was Devin Fosselman and Joe Morrow, I think, if I have that off the top of my head.
Could be right.
Something like that. Maybe they were sophomores that year, but it was that group. That would have been the year that that Houston gave the ball to Tobias by holding his initials up on the cue card to show that he was going to get the ball that play. They put TS on the card that they held up on the sidelines, and sure enough, Tobias got that son gun. So there was that.
What a time.
I enjoyed reminiscing. I mean, it was kind of the perfect day to watch it because I was watching it, and you and I were our site was chasing a number yesterday that we went over.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a second. But it's the full circle of that is we had a pretty prominent day with our partnership with the site with you guys. Thanks to you as we get into this kind of subscription talk a little bit. But looking back at what happened now 14 years ago in this preseason, and I had a lot thicker hair. Now I have thinned my hair out on purpose a little since then, but I had quite the dome going on back there in 2011 with some really poor sideburns and some choices from a hairstyle situation. But Ole Miss was completely and utterly in the tank from a football program standpoint. I mean, it feels like the Twilight Zone in some ways watching that video in real time prior to that that season because there really weren't a lot of expectations. I mean, they were bad in 2010, and that was with Masoli bailing them out. So
Yeah.
watching that now in hindsight is interesting to say the least.
What
Masoli
were
should
they?
have gotten Heisman votes.
They went 4-8 in 2010.
They did,
Okay.
and
I
played the
could.
crap out of LSU in Baton Rouge. Played pretty well in Fayetteville. They had the lightning delay up there. You and I were both there for that game.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I do remember
I
that
do
now.
purposefully, Tupelo, that's true. I do purposefully thin my hair. She uses thinning scissors to kind of thin it out a little bit. That's true.
Same.
That might be a flex, isn't it? That I purposefully thin my hair. That might be on the list of humble bragging a little bit. I apologize. So I forgot about Snoop having those posters all over Oxford. It was for a birthday party,
Yes.
right?
Yes. We yes.
Snoop the
That
champ.
I've told people I will never write a book. It's never going to happen. I don't have the talent to write a book. But if I wrote a book about a team that I covered, it would absolutely be the 2011 Ole Miss football team.
Would even Ole Miss people want to read that book?
Yeah. I think
Okay.
people would ultimately find it fascinating. Like
The car crash of that season.
everybody writes books about teams that win championships. I'm not knocking it. I get it. It's a memory, et cetera. I'm not criticizing at all.
Look at the shot across the bow there, guys. Shot across the bow right there. Hey,
No.
hey.
You wrote a great book. You sold a bunch of copies. Now you're writing another book. You're a book writer. I'm not capable of writing a book. But I think sometimes it would be fascinating. I'll tell you, Gene Wojciechowski wrote a book about the 2004 Chicago Cubs. He had access to the whole season, and I think he thought going in, because they were favored to win the World Series, they did not win the World Series.
What year is this? 04?
2004.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting to read about a season falling apart, a team falling apart, a program falling apart. That's always interesting. And that 2011 thing, it fell apart on so many levels.
It did.
And it did so in spectacular fashion. It would be interesting to go back, and it's too late now. I mean, you couldn't do it. Now, I don't have the time or the energy, but it would be a fascinating recollection to go back and find the genesis of that, because it started way before 2011.
Good question. What is the genesis of that?
I think the genesis of it is almost right off the bat. I think he was tired. I think he had been beaten. Yeah, he had been beaten down at Arkansas. They had run out of patience with him. I think they felt like their program had hit its ceiling with him. He wasn't going to take them further. And I don't think he believed that you could win big at Ole Miss. And in fairness to him, I don't know that at that point, and this is the whole Glenn Boyce, Keith Carter part of this. I don't know that at that point, given the leadership at Ole Miss, given the mentality at Ole Miss, I don't know that you could. So when I say Houston didn't believe that he could win, I think there's a real possibility that he was right. But he didn't recruit at a super high level. And then I think he underestimated badly Dan Mullen in Mississippi State. He had beaten at Arkansas. He had beaten Mississippi State so regularly.
Every year but his first one. He had won like 10 in a row.
He just thought, big deal at State. And then his first year at Ole Miss.
That's right.
They beat Mississippi State. I want to say it was 45-0. It was something along those lines. It was a blowout. It was a
They are still hitting Wesley Carroll and Tyson Lee.
Yeah, it was just a complete mismatch. So he went, what's the big deal? Because he'd been told, oh, listen, it's different when you wear the Ole Miss on your shirt. You don't have a slobbering hog or a Big A or whatever, you've got a Ole Miss script on your shirt, and they hate you. And he beats them 45-0, and he goes, "Shut up." I get it.
He
I mean, I
never
totally.
understood until it hit him in the mouth that he benefited so much actually from the schedule the other way at Arkansas because they played them right before the Ole Miss game almost every year. He beat them anyway, and it was different because it was Arkansas, but Arkansas was always situated a week or 2 weeks prior to Ole Miss every single year back then.
Yeah. And, and he dominated them. Like you said, it was like 8-1 or something like that against Mississippi State as the head coach at Arkansas. I mean, that was,
Yeah.
you can see how he thought, you guys are full of shit, really? I mean, what are you talking about? And then 2010 happened. They did the Masoli thing. I think he thought he was going to take a whole lot of heat for it, and he didn't, but they lost that Jacksonville State game. And that team just kind of lost its way. And Jeremiah Masoli was like a stay of execution in some ways because he stopped them from being horrific. And then he was gone. And there wasn't a lot of internal. And the part that this is going to sound self-serving, but Houston was paranoid. He was paranoid. And I don't think you can run a program paranoid. Hugh Freeze by the end got a little paranoid and things went south on him. You can't. He was worried about what everybody was saying, what everybody was writing. He was trying to control things that can't be controlled. And it just went south on him. And that season went spectacularly south.
He thought it was almost going to be simple to just be okay. And it's what you were talking about with he didn't believe Ole Miss could win big. He thought he could go 8-4 into eternity without a ton of work. Just 8-4, 8-4. Hey, these idiots over here love 8-4. It's going to get them some Cotton Bowls. They're going to be happy about that. I mean, I've always heard this. I mean, I was never invited into his home, but I think his entire home office stayed Arkansas themed the entire time he was at Ole Miss. I was always told that. I have no idea.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
He had a hell of a long run, a successful run at Arkansas. I mean, you go back and think about how close he was there to doing big things. I mean, they were on the cusp a couple of times. I mean, the Clint Sterner fumble,
Yeah,
in that Tennessee game. Otherwise, they play for a title. Darren McFadden was in the Heisman race.
he went to Atlanta twice and tied for the West another time at Arkansas.
Yeah,
Had
I mean,
McFadden, Felix Jones, and Peyton Hillis in the same backfield.
yeah, I mean, did wonders with Matt Jones at quarterback. They had some things, but he hit ceilings there. And then they had all that Mitch Mustaine stuff, and there was drama. And
Yep.
Houston was bad about picking fights with media that, like, he wasn't going to win a war with Wally Hall at that time.
No.
And he decided to almost kind of pick a war with me, and it was just sort of dumb. I mean, whatever. We were doing picks. It was like the 40 wasn't no 49-10 or whatever. That was paranoia. I mean, because the week before nobody said anything when I think it was Alabama to blow them out. And Alabama did.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody said anything then.
In years of Neil's picks, we've only frustrated Houston Nutt and Sean Patterson. That's it. Everybody else has kind of been in on the joke. Okay.
Yeah, everybody else has sort of gotten it, but
it's a good thermometer because it shows you where somebody's running hot if they get frustrated. It's revealing. It's a mirror, is what it is. Arkansas has been good 1 year since then under Petrino with Tyler Wilson. They were damn good. They just ran into the year with the wrong two other teams with Alabama and LSU.
Yeah,
they were the third best team in the country.
Yeah, I was going to say they were probably a top 5 team in terms of actual metrics and stuff. They were really good. LSU and Alabama, awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the observations in a second. I mean, there's not a ton we can say just because that's always the rule here. But again, appreciate you guys. You helped us out a ton here in the past several days, including hitting that mark for us last night that we had been chasing. So really appreciate you.
Yeah, a mark that I don't think we ever would have hit at Rivals.
I mean, I can guarantee it if I'm
I
being
just
frank.
I just don't think it was. Yeah, it was yesterday was a cool day. I mean, to sail past that number was like, wow. I didn't see that coming. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm a competitive person, but I can admit when if I've kind of hit a limit, and I was like, well, yesterday was a lot of validation, man. I mean, that was like a really validating personal, professional day where you go, yep, I was right, about a lot of it. Because I can remember people, I can say it now, Rivals is no longer, people saying, oh, you can get there. You just have to do this. And I was like, no, we're not going to get there. It's not happening. It's not. There's no way. I mean, we got past another number, and I was like, wow, I can't believe this. And someone was like, keep going. I'm like, dude, we are at the ceiling here. I mean, we are hitting it. We're all over the ceiling.
No, not yet. So keep
No.
telling people we really appreciate it. Again, we'll keep trying to bring entertaining and informative content, and we'll keep reminding you of codes and specials and things we have to make the user experience better for you as we move forward. A couple things in the stream there. I'll get to those after the break and get to that. Y'all got some good comments, good stuff going on there already here this morning with that. So we'll do that in 1 second. I'll tell you that the podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. These days feels like their advice for everything: cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you know what actually works for you? With the internet and information overload about mental health and wellness, it can be a struggle to know what's true and what actions to take these days. Using trusted resources and talking to live therapists get you personalized recommendations to help you break through the noise. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it works with an App Store rating of 4.9 out of 5 based on 1.7 million client reviews. It's convenient too. Join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch at any single time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can access mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com/MPW. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MPW.
We're also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great people, products, and services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. Oxford locals, Ole Miss families, if you need dry cleaning or laundry done right, Lapel's Dry Cleaning has you covered. Proudly serving the Oxford community since 2016, Lapel's takes care of everything from suits and formal dresses to comforters and everyday laundry. Even better, they offer free pickup and delivery to make life easier. Just call 662-638-3149 to be added to their pickup and delivery route, or visit them at 3010 Old Taylor Road, right across from the Mark Condominiums. Mention MPW for 50% off your first order. Trust Lapels to keep you looking your best. Are you retiring soon? How long should you wait to take Social Security? What accounts should you pull from first? Are you already retired? Should you consider Roth conversions? These are just some of the questions that can only be answered with a personalized retirement income plan. Andrew Sego, Sego Wealth Management, specializes in helping folks just like you come up with their retirement game plan. Whether you meet at his office in Collierville or prefer Zoom from anywhere, schedule a free discovery meeting and see what they can do for you. It's rebelsretire.com. Arnett's Fine Jewelry is a fourth-generation jeweler located in the old Lamons Jewelry Building on North Lamar Avenue in Oxford. They offer expert jewelry repair, diamond engagement rings, wedding bands, stackable diamonds, genuine stone bands, pearls, genuine color stones, diamond jewelry, and much more. They've got everything you could be looking for gifts: flexible bangles, diamond pendants, earrings, push presents if your wife is expecting. They can also help you find an awesome gift for Christmas, which is closer right now than you think it is. At Arnett's, they want to be your jeweler.
Podcast is brought to you by Northeast Spark, the fastest, most reliable fiber internet option available, whether you're streaming the Rebels or connecting with family and friends. They offer both residential and business packages with speeds up to 2 gigabits. To learn more, register for service. That's nespark.com. NeSpark. Get connected, stay local. Yeah, there's no doubt that two arguments over the last 15 or so years for a playoff, I mean, is 2011 Arkansas. You give them another chance at Alabama and LSU, and then 2008 Ole Miss. That 2008 Ole Miss team would have definitely been capable of a run at that point.
Oh yeah,
They were
sure.
they were damn good.
Yeah, they were great by the end of the year. Such a weird.
I mean, you got that one right. You told Chris they weren't going to lose again after Alabama.
Yeah, walking off the field, I told Chris Vaughn, y'all aren't going to lose again. He was so worried about the Arkansas game the next week in Fayetteville. It was their first return there since Nutt had left, and he was like, "Oh, I don't know, I just got to get through next week," you know.
Yeah.
And then once they did, there was like this collective weight that came off their shoulders, and just boom, they were fantastic the rest of the way. They basically just mauled everyone they played.
Kyle, thanks for super chat.
Almost beat that Alabama.
Always in there. They had the ball to go win, and Jebin missed a receiver that was running across the middle of the field.
Yeah, missed Mike
He just
Wallace.
didn't see him.
Yeah,
I know. Kyle, thanks. Says I'm not an Ole Miss fan. Listen to y'all daily. Love y'all. Appreciate you always. Kyle, you're always here with us. I'm gonna move on. I'm getting off this, but it's still August 5th, so things like this are distracting me when they come up in conversation. It's the number one thing Hugh did was he showed Ole Miss it could win on a national level even without an efficient staff. We've talked about that all the time. Is he elevated the mindset with what he was able to accomplish and making recruiting the priority, along with the program requirement that Orgeron never was able to pull off. What do you think Ross thought Ole Miss's ceiling was?
I don't know. I think he thought there was one. I think what worked against Ross was that he was working with someone that he never would have hired. I don't think he ever would have hired Hugh Freeze in the wild, if you will.
Well, they hired Hugh first.
But he didn't do it.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, I mean, he completely inherited it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how we got on this topic. We're doing a retroactive show. I mean, a retro visit. But again, one of the biggest things, I don't think the man knows who I am. So this is not me kissing his ass. One of the biggest things Ole Miss has going for it in general is Glenn Boyce.
Yes.
There's a fearlessness to his leadership that his predecessor did not possess. I mean, look, Ross did the right thing very clearly because he went to Texas A&M and now to Ohio State. But, I mean, Ross had his legs chopped off from underneath him twice in high-profile situations. That was the way
you're comparing Boyce and Jeffrey Vitter.
Yeah, well, they were both chancellors.
Yes,
I mean it's a fair comparison.
I meant that's like who you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's like comparing Washington and Adams. Then they were both presidents. I mean, this is fair. I don't know Boyce. He doesn't know me. I doubt seriously if he has any idea who I am. But he doesn't do things like what Vitter did to Ross. And so Ross got his legs chopped. I mean, he got kneecapped twice. The Kennedy thing with the whole PowerPoint, and you have to win, and we're not doing it. I mean, that was stupid. And then
Matt.
I mean, nothing against Matt, but at all. But that's not what Ross was going to do. He conducted this whole coaching search. He was going to go make a hire, and then some people around Oxford were hanging signs, and Vitter felt embattled, and some Oxford people did some hey, if you'll do this, we'll back you. And he bought it like an idiot. And yeah, I mean, Ross should have resigned, but he did the right thing by not resigning, because if he resigns, maybe he's not at Ohio State today. But obviously, I'm sure that now you know that Ross probably went home in the days after that and said, "We got to get out of here," and he did. To his credit, I mean, people always say he fell forward, and I get it and all that stuff, but the administration that he worked with during his time at Ole Miss sucked. It did. If that makes people mad, I'm sorry. Your current administration's really good. I mean,
And
so I'm not.
it's chancellor. It's chancellor level, because multiple times in that period where Ole Miss was really kind of floundering and trying to figure itself out, when you look back, it had a hell of an athletic administration staff with guys that were under the ADs. I mean, even I guess maybe Pete had everybody under him at once, but at one point, I mean, you're talking about Keith and Danny and Alan Green and Hartwell. You know what I mean? Like there was a run of what would eventually be either Power or FBS ADs all under there, but things just did not meld inside the Lyceum back over there in any capacity. And it's the number one thing as we close this topic is, and I've written about this a good bit, Ole Miss having Boyce and Keith and their ability to coexist and be on the same page is unlike a ton of places around the country where the people inside the president's office, whatever it's called at the respective university, fight like hell to not be on the same page. And that is an advantage that you cannot take lightly in any capacity. I mean, it is paramount in every way to have that, and Ole Miss does right now. So no, 100%. Would you read it at 24/7 Sports, Rebels 24/7, but set me up a little bit on last night.
I mean, they were in full pads. We did see some contact. We're not seeing any team at all. Like there, well, I take that back. We saw 2 plays of goal line team, but I
11
don't know
on
whether
11 at the goal line.
But I don't know whether it was live. Like tackle they scored on one play, got stopped at the 2 on another play. I guess it appeared to be live, but I couldn't tell. On both of those plays, one was quarterbacked by Simmons, one was quarterbacked by I can't remember who it was. It was one of the backups, not Maddox, but one of the other ones. Both
Malachi Smith,
both,
Trinidad Chambliss.
I think it was Chambliss. On one of the plays, both of the plays, Caleb Odom was the target. He caught the ball both times, once for a touchdown, once he was stopped at what appeared to be about the 2. The play, they did first and goal or whatever, 4th and goal, whatever it was, from the 4-yard line. That's all we saw. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I continue to be impressed with the wide receiver core. They certainly look the part, but now again, it's routes on air. You're going to typically look good, but they physically look the part. The defensive line looks the part, and I can't tell whether they're as deep as they were a year ago. I'm almost assuredly not, because they were exceptionally deep a year ago. I think TJ Dottery is poised to have a really big season. I have questions about the back end of the defense, but that might just be because I don't know who some of those people are after seeing so many familiar faces back there last year, all year long. I don't know. I mean, probably had in total, including the stretch stuff, probably had 50 minutes of getting to watch. I mean, it's a good looking team. It's an athletic team. It's a team that has good size. I think they have good depth. We'll find out. I still think they're trying to figure out who the best 5 offensive linemen are. which is maybe a good thing. It means that you have more than 5. Because there's been years here where, including a couple of the big years where they only had 5 or 6. And I didn't think Ole Miss was particularly good up front a year ago. I thought it kind of haunted them in a couple of games. This offensive line has more size. Now, whether it has whether it's as good as that one, whether it's better or remains to be seen. Now, we're not seeing enough in practice to make those judgments. So if people are trying to make those judgments here on August the 4th, they're either August the 5th, they're either just worlds better than me, which is possible, or they're jumping to big time conclusions. I don't know how you would be able to conclude a lot of like hard felt strong opinions from what we saw last night one way or the other.
Was Kutas any more active or same as the other days?
He appeared to be more active. He was doing some snapping. So, they were working him at center some. And then the next thing I saw was just drills. And he was involved in drills. So he was more active than he had been in the previous practices that I saw. During the period
they had mostly been using John Wayne Oliver for other snaps behind Bryson in previous days.
He was doing some too.
Sammy asking, is Taj the new Mark Robinson? Well, you would take that right now if that were offered to you. If he had a Mark Robinson season, you would like to not have 2 ejections, but otherwise, yeah, you would sign up for that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I don't know. We haven't. Again, that's one of those deals where there's no way to know that based on what we're seeing. Now, Ole Miss might know because we left after 5 periods. I'm going to guess they went 21, 22 periods. So do the math. We didn't see the overwhelming bulk of the practice, including probably the most meaningful part of the practice that the coaches look at and make and draw conclusions off of. But I mean, he looks good. I mean, he talked about the weight that he's gained and the benefit that he's had from being in an SEC program. Certainly has a great attitude, but is he an NFL linebacker? I can't say that he is or isn't based on the little bit that we've seen. Apparently
Go ahead.
Apparently there was a depth chart violation done in the media fairly recently that almost got us evicted before we got started. So who knows where it's all going. Apparently someone put up a depth chart that had to come down that angered a certain SEC head coach who lives in town or the people around him.
His freshman.
His freshman.
Yes. His freshman.
His freshman. So I don't know, man. I mean, whether it's a strength or a weakness is up to you to determine. But I try not to draw conclusions off things that are just drills. I mean, the receivers look good, and I think they are good. But until I see them be good against other teams that are trying to not let them be good, I'm not going to just go crazy. I mean, if the other team does not guard Ole Miss, this offense is going to be elite. I'll put that out there. That's that. If the other team doesn't put a defense on the field, they're lighting it up.
The corners still were not exactly doing press coverage in the 7-on-7 work that you saw yesterday.
I really didn't see 7-on-7. So it's hard to say.
Maybe you answered this. Did they score on those 2 goal line 11-on-11 plays?
1. Scored on 1 and got stopped at the 2 on the other.
Okay.
No, I do not think
Lane. I do not believe Lane listens to the show. No, I do not.
I would be willing to bet almost anything that he does not. Not only does not listen to our show, he doesn't listen to anyone's show.
No. Odds are not high on that.
They are extremely low.
Yeah.
I'll give a shout out to Chris Kiffin. I saw Chris, talked to Chris for a minute yesterday. He's been doing hot yoga twice a day.
Twice a day.
Twice a day. So he's doing basically 2 a days. He looks great. He looks getting svelte.
I went yesterday afternoon and meant to go back this morning, and I was a little dehydrated and drained when I got done. So
Oh,
I took the morning off and said I had some other work to do. Went no, I'm not going to try to do 5:30 p.m., 5:30 a.m. But I did do a go do a I did an hour power flow yesterday evening around 5:30.
did you?
So hmm
I've thought about it. I'm so conscious of what I look like in there that I can't make
no
myself
one's
do it.
paying any attention. I
That's my
mean,
guess. But I don't think I could do some of the poses
you think I'm
like where you're
highly
like,
flexible there, McCready?
well, I mean, like where you end up like standing on one arm for 10 minutes. I
No, it's not that. And and you get like a little faster every time that you're going through the flow. So you're not holding them very long too. I struggled with one position last night. Everything else I've done or I could get to them without too much trouble. There was another man in there last night. Typically that's
okay.
not the case, but there was last night. So
Yeah. Yeah. I got up and ran this morning. That was my accomplishment.
okay. You feel great when you're done. I mean, and you're not out in the sun, so you're not getting drained in the same way that you would if you were out in the heat with the sun also down on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. But no, I never feel like anybody gives two craps. I do. There's a certain part of the room that I like to be in because it does make me a little less self-conscious if I'm in a certain part of the room.
Yeah.
But I know that's just in my head. But if that helps me, then I do it anyway.
I understand.
But I do that. So. I have thought about one Saturday morning or like some day like we could do a Rebel Grove MPW class one time where anybody who's around wants to come try it with our own people and give it a shot. I, I know somebody that would do that for us. So just a thought. I think I mentioned it to Avery maybe last year. Maybe that's something we could look at. Austin, thanks for super chat as always. Appreciate you too. Is it crazy to think Notre Dame could be in the SEC one day? Behind the scenes, politics aside, they're adding more SEC teams to its schedule.
No, it's not crazy. Um, I think the day likely is coming where Notre Dame has to join a league, and it has two choices. The Big Ten's a little bit more of a natural fit, and is where I would anticipate Notre Dame would go. But I mean, if you told me the money dictated a different answer, ultimately, I would buy it. Sure. I mean, they have natural tie-in rivalries built in with Michigan. Um, you know, I guess Indiana, Purdue, right there inside their state.
Hmm
But look, there was a day when I was a kid. I grew up an Alabama fan, and I can remember Alabama and Notre Dame playing each other every year. And I mean, that was a colossal ABC game of the week whenever it was played. Alabama played Penn State a good bit. They played Notre Dame a good bit. Because those were the games that would come on TV where I could watch. We didn't have SEC Network back in the day.
What year would you pick if I told you that the SEC expanding, you had to bet the under of what year?
I mean, 2030, 2031.
That long? You don't anticipate it prior to that?
I mean, it could, but I think it will happen by then.
I'm with you on that. I think that's
I mean,
probably
I
correct.
don't think the SEC's in a big hurry to do it. I don't think they're out recruiting schools. In fact, I know they're not. But, I'm sure that some people have kind of done their homework. They have a feel for what they would do. I mean, if Notre Dame picked up the phone, and that's what it would take. If Notre Dame picked up the phone and called Greg Sankey and said, we want to join, I think the SEC would move quickly to make that happen. I think Notre Dame's another one of those schools, and I mean North Carolina's another one of those schools, and I don't know that there are too many more after that.
Stacy says Sankey big on geography for teams. He does really like the talking point that they have not separated from their geographic roots in his opinion. Very
Yeah,
much.
yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a talking point. I think it's a genuine belief. Now, Notre Dame, the brand is so big that I don't know that you could say no to them. But it might not be a no-brainer. I don't know. To me, it would be a no-brainer. But I mean, I'm not in that in his shoes. And I mean, I would think Notre Dame coming to your campus would be a big game.
More on that in a second. I got a thought off that. Let's go to that right after the break. We'll come back. We'll talk about that. Before we do that, I'll tell you the podcast brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. Fall sports officially underway, and there's a new digital ticket model going into effect this year. It's something to be very much aware of. Screenshots will no longer work. Look, it's what I used to. They no longer work. So go to OleMissSports.com to familiarize yourself with the latest transferring process. Also, 2025 men's and women's basketball season ticket and donation renewal deadline quickly approaching on August 31st, just a little less than 4 weeks away on that. Call the Ole Miss ticket office or visit online to get tickets today. If you want your priority points up before seat or parking selections, the foundation can help you out. That's 662-915-7159. For further information, give2athletics.com.
We're brought to you by the College Corner. They've got autographed footballs, autographed helmets in stock. They've got also all the gear, all the brands you know and love and want. They've got all of that stuff in all the colors that you want as we get ready for a college football season that sees Ole Miss play 8 games in Oxford, 9 in the state of Mississippi. So a lot of games close by. You want your gear. Best place to get it is the College Corner. 2 locations in Jackson, 1 right here in Oxford, just off of Sisk Avenue at the Oxford Commons. You can also check them out online at collegecornerstore.com. When you work with Argent Welt's 401k advisory services, you gain a valuable advisory team and time-saving resource that will help you develop and maintain a solid strategy for your retirement plan. They're committed to providing you with the personalized attention and involvement that you want and need. Their goal is to help you manage your 401k plan properly and ultimately improve your employees' retirement readiness. It's myargentwealth.com. Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're trying to plan a trip that creates a lifetime of unique memories, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters, give him some ideas, give him a budget, super important. And then let him give you options that you're probably not going to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. Get the beautiful, healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment, including implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step toward a better version of yourself. It's corinthdental.com.
Podcast also brought to you by New Albany Pharmacy and Solutions. That's newalbanypharmacy.com for their new website. Located 140 Fairfield Drive in New Albany. Contact them 662-539-7777. Family-owned pharmacy with excellent service, wide range of gifts for all ages, everything from home decor, jewelry, and plenty more. Tell them you heard about them from MPW Digital, the podcast, 24/7, wherever you choose for that, and get 15% off any non-medical purchase. Again, that's newalbanypharmacy.com. Austin again says Notre Dame doesn't fit in geographically, but Indiana is the one northern state that would fit perfectly in the SEC. A lot of similarities between Indiana people and us. Look,
Yeah,
I think Notre Dame has an open invitation wherever they would like to put their head on the
realistic.
pillow at night.
It's a big brand.
Yeah, they're fine there. But you know, we were sort of off some days, a little disjointed during Big Ten media days. We were taking some time during that. We had stuff going on, and I don't know that we spent much time, maybe we won't today either, but just something to sort of plant a seed. I don't think we're talking enough while they have to be together to come together for rules for the rest of college football and to run it and all these things. But there's a pretty aggressive rivalry forming between the SEC and the Big Ten at the same time that is escalating, picking up steam, and becoming very thorough on its talking points. You got the SEC going, hey, we're still a conference. Look where our geography was. And the Big Ten goes, well, we're actually a national conference. We go coast to coast and we fit everybody and we do this and that. And I thought the Big Ten coaches were very astute at executing their talking points over the course of that week because they were pretty aggressive with the shots down south toward their power conference brethren.
It's almost like it was scripted.
A little bit.
I mean,
A little bit.
It's almost like maybe the seeds are being planted for an AFC NFC style rivalry.
Nobody would watch that. Nah.
I mean, nobody would watch that at all. I mean, obviously. Yeah, that had a professional wrestling feel to it. I was interested. I know the SEC didn't play along this time, but that felt contrived in a smart way. I mean, I didn't have a problem with it. Now, I'm not the type that would have a problem with it, but I'm sure that got some folks in Demopolis worked up. You know what I mean? And that'll make it where, by God, when the Tide plays Wisconsin, everybody's gonna be watching that game. You know what I mean? That's kind of, it felt AFC NFC to me. It was, to me, yeah, it was engaging the SEC, but it was also a little bit of probably a message being sent quite subtly to the ACC and the Big 12 and the others. Hey, take the scraps we give you or else. Quit asking for more. Like Nick Saban says, stop asking. Because we can break away and we can do this AFC NFC thing. There's kind of a model. Wouldn't be hard to figure out the model. And frankly,
and we can play ourselves for the national title and everybody will acknowledge it and accept it and we'll all move on.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, of course they would. Actually, in that scenario, the fans win. You don't get Georgia State and the Citadel anymore. You get Iowa and Michigan. I mean, the coaches don't want it because you're going to have more L's. But fans would love it. TV would slobber over it.
They would.
You know, I mean, and look, it's probably where we're heading. I don't know when. I don't know exactly how. It's probably where we're heading.
Everything points to that being the final destination.
I think it does.
And then maybe after that, every school independently gets to fight for a piece into that realm and membership. But for the most part, nah.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
well, you had the sentence yesterday as we spent so much time in college athletics, ironically, because everything's been about under the table funding for years and decades and one upping everybody. And you were talking about ULM, but not everybody needs to play at the same table. Not everybody deserves to be at the table. Not everybody needs to be at the table. Whatever your situation is, I mean, former Ole Miss associate AD John Hartwell out at ULM yesterday, and to the best of my knowledge, ULM, which already had the smallest reported budget in the group of five, cutting budget again, where anything John comes to is better than the hellhole that he's currently in charge of or was currently in charge of there at ULM.
I mean, I can say this as someone who has a degree from there. A lot of family that went there, a lot of roots there. Not really any presence there anymore. I guess I have a cousin that still lives there, but that's about it. We stopped in Monroe for lunch on the way to Ruston for my niece's wedding. That's in the last 20 years, that's the extent of my time in Monroe. But they don't belong in the same classification with SEC, Big Ten, ACC. They don't have the money. It doesn't exist. and there was a day someone asked about it on the message board yesterday. It was actually kind of an interesting conversation, I thought. Someone said, have they ever been successful? And the answer is yes. When I was in high school, I don't remember the exact year, but I was in high school. I want to say maybe 87. It was then Northeast Louisiana University. It's now ULM. They won the Division I AA national championship. Everybody watched that locally in North Louisiana. It was a big deal. They went up. They won the game, and it was in that Idaho Dome, I think, Pocatello or somewhere is where the game was. I don't know. I don't remember who they played. I remember they won, and I think they had a parade, the whole deal. Probably got rings. Probably had quite the celebration when they got back to campus. And there's nothing wrong with that. You and I talk about this all the time. I never see the Class 1A, like when we watch the state championships. I never see the Class 1A team go, well, we won, but, it wasn't 6A, so screw it. Mm-hmm. No, they jump around, and the cheerleaders all hug each other, and the parents in the stands are going crazy, and everybody's happy. If you ask that team to then turn around and play Madison Central, they'd get blown off the face of the planet. So what happens? We don't ask them to.
Yes.
No, I don't know the 1A schools in Mississippi, but you probably can help me a little bit. I mean,
yeah, Vardaman, Smithville, take your pick. Yeah.
Yeah, if Vardaman wins the state championship, do you think on their way back the coach goes, "Hey, listen, guys, stop the celebration.
Tupelo would have beat our ass." Yeah, okay, good.
Tupelo would beat our ass. Shut up. No. He goes down the bus hugging everybody, telling all the seniors how proud he is. That's why is college different? Why? I mean, ULM belongs in a lesser in a smaller, not lesser, a smaller classification. And back when they played in that class, I've told you about this before. I grew up in Ruston. Louisiana Tech went to the 1AA semis one year. They beat Mississippi Valley with Jerry Rice and all those cats. They went to Jackson and played Alcorn at Veterans. Is it Veterans Memorial? Is that what it's called? They played them there and won. That game was on TV. ABC put the game on TV because it was past the point where the SEC and stuff were playing. They needed something to put on TV, and they put it on TV. And then I remember Delaware came to Ruston the next week. Joe I.A. Stadium was packed. It was packed because you were playing in a tournament. Everybody loves tournaments. Even in Ruston and Monroe, people like tournaments.
The Indians and the Blue Hens.
So, I don't. And instead, they've gone to this system where they're in these goofy-ass leagues that make no sense, and they play Old Dominion and FIU and stuff on a Tuesday night. Nobody goes. Imagine that. Shocker. So the system's flawed. I don't know why they can't go back to a system where you go, hey, we'll give you a scholarship, and that's what we're going to do. They can't pay. I mean, ULM can't create NIL revenue. And now you're asking them to play all over the place. And so you've got to take all these teams everywhere. My understanding is that John was asked to cut somewhere between $5 and $7 million from his athletics budget.
It was already in the 20s, I think.
That's stripping everything to bare bones. And he just declined to do it on the principle of it. I respect that.
Grind asking college football preseason rankings came out yesterday. Grind asking what the bracket would look like according to the rankings. This year they changed it up. It's straight seeded. It's not, the buys can be any mix of conferences. It does not go to the top 4 conference champions on buys this year. So really there's not a lot of movement as far as having to put the bracket together. Boise State, if I'm glancing correctly, would be your group of 5 champion that gets in. Everybody else is in a main conference as I'm staring at it, best I can tell. So you would have Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, and Georgia with the 4 buys. Notre Dame would host Boise State in round 1. Clemson would host Arizona State in round 1. Oregon would host Miami in round one, and Alabama would host LSU in round one. Illinois would be the first team out of the playoff, given those preseason rankings.
Take that, Illinois.
South Carolina, Michigan, and Ole Miss, the next three.
Screwed. Just totally screwed. Those teams totally screwed. Do you get a
Speaking
kick
to
out of?
that, go ahead.
Do you get a kick out of preseason angst when people see the polls come out and people lose their minds over it? Here's who's overrated. Here's who underrated. I'm like, how do you know? I mean, I realize that you're working for, and we're in this world now too, but I didn't do it.
I get that it's not behooving my business. I wish there wasn't a poll at all till like week 8. Because I
Agreed.
do think, because Ole Miss was going to benefit from this last year. I do think you benefit from starting higher because when you lose, you don't fall as far as somebody who started lower. There are poll dynamics that stay in play throughout the season.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I wonder.
Being the top ranked 3-loss team, if a 3-loss team gets into the playoff, is 85% where you started in the preseason.
Amen to what Grind just said, by the way. Amen, my friend. He says, side note, I hate that athletic scholarships are deemed as having no value because student loans are a real thing. Amen.
It's true.
Amen, sir. Yes, quite true. I don't know. I don't know what the committee looks at ultimately. Are they watching the polling data? I'm sure they are. I don't know that anybody is taking the coaches poll as all that serious any more than they take the AP poll as all that serious. Ultimately, these things typically sort themselves out. The debate should be about how much strength of schedule weighs, not records.
I would be completely fine with the BCS model deciding the playoff field.
100%.
All good.
Yes, agree completely.
Stacy says, my sister played at Ole Miss and got her master's. She's the only sibling that didn't have student loans. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. Go ahead.
I hate the idea of, well, you're getting a scholarship and you're getting all your stuff paid for, and that doesn't count as anything. Want to bet?
Yeah. I don't know much about what Southern did in the offseason. I know they hired the Marshall coach Charles Huff, which is an interesting story because the last place team in a conference hires the conference champion. But I was listening to the very end of Sports Talk Mississippi with Hey Dad and Borky yesterday. By the way, Brian has a podcast with Borky up on the network and the site. Hey Dad was somewhat, I'm not, forget concerned or what. I'm not trying to put a connotation on what he was thinking. He's giving Southern Miss a real chance to compete in this game on opening weekend. He thinks that they did things in the portal and in the offseason, and with it being game one for State, he does not think this is a layup for Jeff Lebby and the Bulldogs in week one. That sort of stuck out to me because if State doesn't run them somewhat off the field, I'm having a hard time getting them to 4.
Same. I would view, not necessarily by the final score, but if State doesn't basically dominate the game, at the line of scrimmage, control the game, I would have probably real concerns about.
He thought it was the biggest optics game of the Jeff Lebby era, not just win, but win like an SEC team is supposed to win.
That's fair. Yeah. I can see that. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that.
Knox and Grind both say USM basically took Marshall's team.
Again, if you're an SEC team and you can't beat Marshall,
yeah,
it's probably going to go badly for you.
It is. So, all right, final break here. G&M Pharmacy 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and offer MedSeed. For your prescriptions the same time each month, take care of you and help you out in that way. So whether it's local delivery in the Oxford area or plenty of other options to help you out every single day, that's Tyson Drugs or G&M, and that's 662-236-2222.
Located in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, Parish Brewing Company's simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer. I would say that they have done that quite well. They have achieved that goal. You should try it for yourself. Whatever beer you're looking for, they've got it. They've got a go-to IPA, Dr. Juice, a highly crushable juice bomb, 6% ABV. They've got Ghost in the Machine, which is just my personal favorite. Just absolutely fantastic. It's a double IPA that you'll absolutely love. If you're not into IPAs, not into double IPAs, that's okay. They've got Pescador. It's a lager with a hint of lime. They've got a Pilsner called Parish, which is excellent. Envy is a America Pale Ale. So much more. Wherever you want beer, whatever you want in beer, Parish has it. If it has Parish on the label, give it a shot. You won't regret it. Wherever you look for beer, look for Parish Brewing Company. I'll have a mailbag tomorrow at 24/7. It is brought to you by Art Hayes, Sotheby's International Realty. Are you thinking of making a move? Put the power of Sotheby's to work for you. As a licensed agent with Sotheby's International Realty and a supporter of all things Ole Miss, Art can help you buy or sell in your hometown or anywhere in the world at no charge to you. Seriously. So call and ask Art how. 612-805-5929 or email art at arthur.hayes@lakesmn.com.
I didn't know that Teddy Bridgewater had gotten into some ruckus there at Northwestern High School where he had won a state title last year. Did you see that?
Yeah. We talked about it on McCready and
Oh,
Siskey.
did you? Okay.
Yeah. He used his own personal money to help some of his players with like being able to get recovery drinks, nutrition stuff, whatever, and other coaches got upset and called that a violation.
I'm having a hard time getting my heart rate up on that one.
Yeah, it was not exactly sinister. Teddy Bridgewater, apparently one of the really good guys in all of football on any level. And
what that tells you is other coaches didn't like the fact that Teddy was beating their heads in on Friday nights.
Yes. And I'm sure some of them say, well, if he weren't super wealthy, he wouldn't be able to do that. We can't do that. It's a competitive advantage. But if you're truly in it for the kids, and at that level you should be, the kids getting they weren't getting vehicles and stuff. They were getting like money for food and nutrition and hydration.
He's signing with the Buccaneers is where I was going with that.
Oh, okay. So he's going to play another year?
Yeah. Kay Cota says 10-year high school reunion or LSU game. If there's anybody from your high school you want to see, you can see them without needing the reunion to see them.
Yeah. I mean.
And that's coming from somebody who's not been to either one of my reunions.
I went to my 30, was it my 30 year I went to? Or 35? I went to one or the other.
I mean, I'm sure there are instances where you just hadn't been able to get back up with people and you go, God, I can't wait to see Bill. But for the most part, you can figure it out. You can go see Bill some other way.
It just depends. I mean, I don't know how close you are to your high school, how far away you are, whether you ever will see those people again. I mean, whatever makes you feel better. I'm not going to be the one that judges going to a reunion over a football game. They'll play more football games. I mean,
were you glad you went to your 30th?
Yes, I was glad I went. I didn't go to the next one, but yeah, I was glad I went. Yeah, it was kind of neat to see old teammates and stuff like that. It was kind of, yeah, glad I went.
Fair. He says, I figured I'd talk to everyone I'm already friends with. Yeah, I mean, you have to make that decision for yourself, whether there is anyone there that you want to see that you would not have a means to do to see otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, but usually sometimes it's just a neat nostalgic thing to see the people that you grew up with. And sometimes it's not. Whatever way you feel about it, I don't think there's a wrong answer.
There's not.
And if you miss a football game, it's going to be okay. They're going to play more games.
11 more this year.
They're going to play more games. It's going to be okay. You might regret not going to the reunion. You might look back and that was the last chance to see somebody. I don't know. Just depends on what's on your heart. I'm not that guy that. But now look, I don't watch as much football as a lot of people. I mean, I'm not hostage to the football schedule the way a lot of people are. And I don't mean that as a criticism. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. If
And
you want to
I'm
go,
a little bit of a bad case too because I don't really talk to anybody I graduated with, and I would be more inclined. I mean, I'm not invited, obviously, but I would be more inclined to go to a reunion that featured people that went to a different high school because I was more friends with them in high school than my own high school,
oh,
which
yeah.
creates a little bit of a weird thing too, where I'm like, because like I looked at pictures and some of the people that I would have liked to have seen weren't there either. I'm like, okay, well, no, I was fine. I'm glad that I didn't do that. So
I
it's
mean,
all good.
but you were a Bearcat, so you don't know what that's like.
It's
And
fair. I don't have a
you know,
statue that gets polished every Sunday
yeah,
morning there
yeah.
in Ruston.
You
What
don't have
parish
Bearcat.
is that in?
Lincoln
Okay,
Parish. Yep,
there we go.
yep. The greatest parish,
Okay,
easily, not even close.
of course.
I mean,
The one,
Tangipahoa Parish has nothing on Lincoln Parish. Ouachita Parish, nothing on Lincoln Parish. Caddo Parish, losers. I mean, we're Bearcat Pride's a real thing, man.
I don't think in Mississippi we have a lot of county pride. I don't feel like that's a thing. So,
That's L's problem. That's a you
how many
problem.
parishes are in Louisiana?
I mean, a bunch.
I mean, are there as many as I mean, there's not as many as counties in Mississippi though. Like we have a county, like there's 82 counties in Mississippi. How many parishes are in Louisiana?
Get up now.
Okay. I mean, maybe it's 150 or something. I don't know.
No, I think it's 60 something. Yeah,
Is
64.
it?
Yep.
Okay.
64 parishes, and we rank number one every time in everything.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I still talk to some people I went to ICC with, but I don't know that I talked to anybody that
The biggest
I.
parish
Yeah.
by land is Plaquemines Parish. The biggest
Okay.
parish in terms of population is East Baton Rouge Parish.
Okay. Good enough.
There you go.
One bit of news that did come out yesterday, and I'm glad for this. I was on this side of it. The NCAA tournament's going to stay at 68, at least for this season. They are not expanding to 72 or 76. 76 had been the next option had they been able to do that. But I was reading from somebody this morning from the Puck, is where I had picked this up. And they said that negotiations had been pretty lukewarm because TV was not willing to pay much. They didn't really care about the extra games when they were going to be play-in games. They didn't think that was worth much, and it was just kind of a non-starter when it got to that. To the point that there was no sort of frustration or antagonism because it wasn't a big enough deal to even incite that level of situation. It was not acrimonious at all, is what they called it. However, they did say that it's still on the table for next year, and that the people who want the expansion, they are going to try to sweeten the pot by relaxing the restrictions on networks' ability to sell corporate sponsorships at the NCAA tournament, and that would be how they would try to get people on their side. So they're not giving up, but it feels like they did lose some steam and lose some luster. Whether they went after they went to the TV people and the TV people went, nah, we're good, no thanks.
Yeah, I'm proud of the people who stood up and kept it the way that it is.
They get a say too.
It's fine the way that it's actually great the way that it is. People
perfect.
love the NCAA basketball tournament. You play a couple of games on Tuesday, a couple of games on Wednesday, and then you crank that bad boy up on Thursday, and we have 3 weekends.
And you're ready to go.
And it's great. I heard so many Ole Miss people last year going, "Oh, I didn't realize how fun this is," and I was like, "Yeah, it's awesome. The tournament's great. Leave it the way it is. You have to be pretty good to get in." To their credit, they reward strength of schedule. I just don't really have any. I don't really have any complaints with the tournament at all. Why you would mess with it is beyond me. By adding another 8 teams, you take away a lot of the bubble talk. Now the teams on the bubble are all kind of shitty. It works. It works now. I like it. Leave it alone. Yeah. It's good. And
no,
coaches are always going to lobby for more. They should lobby for more. If you make the tournament, the more coaches that make the tournament are safe. I get it. I don't begrudge them lobbying for more at all. But good for the TV people for going, no, let's leave it the way it is. It's solid.
Grind, that's probably a hand raised guys conversation. I sort of put that on that thing for Thursday. Talks about the Bristol MLB game being such a mess. I don't know if you guys talked about McGrady and Siskey, but I kind of have that earmarked a little bit for Thursday between calls. Yeah, it was rough. They had water, hard liquor, and then ran out of food. Boots ran out of nachos, others out of cheese. It was a bit of a mess there. So
Yeah, they were
yeah,
serving hot dogs with no buns, nachos
okay.
with no cheese.
It's keto. You
They
gotta
were going
market it
keto.
correctly. It's got
They
keto.
were the keto
It's fine.
deal.
Yeah, we're forward.
The field
So
wasn't ready to handle rain.
uh-huh.
It was bad. But look, when you do novelty stuff, there's a chance it's going to be a disaster.
It can flounder on you, and this one very much did. So we'll talk about it Thursday. Again, I appreciate you guys as always for helping us over the numbers, showing up every day, participating in the stream. Love all of you, and really appreciate it. We will give you some updated stuff for the schedule. We will have a hand raised guys on Thursday. We'll hang out and do all those sort of things. I got a couple food things we're going to do for Thursday. Neil doesn't even know that yet, but getting that a little situated for Thursday afternoon or evening or whenever we're doing this thing. So 24/7 sports,
Just know
Rebels 24/7.
you're walking into a fairly emotional house when you walk in here on Thursday night. So
Okay, I'll
be
be aware
conscious.
and careful. I understand. Okay, we'll do that. So more with you there. Neil gets you 75 is the discount, 75% off for your first year there at 24/7. So take care, and we'll talk to you again. So.